My message this morning is entitled The Good Stuff. Say that with me, the good stuff. How many of you are interested in the good stuff and like to have a bit more of the good stuff? And I bet, knowing you as I think I do, that you wouldn't necessarily say the good stuff is even necessarily stuff. Sometimes, but it's not necessarily stuff. The good stuff. And not just recognizing the good stuff, but helping to create some of the good stuff. That's what I want to talk about this morning, but I do want to begin with one of my very favorite stories. It is a story written by Robert Fulghum in his book, It Was on Fire When I Lay Down on It. You may recognize him and associate him with a piece that was very popular for a very long time, a piece called All I Ever Needed to Know I Learned in Kindergarten. Exactly. Well, he's written quite a few books. This one, It Was on Fire When I Lay Down on It. Isn't that a great title? It Was on Fire When I Lay Down on It. Has one of my favorite stories of his. And I could paraphrase it, but I'm not going to. Even though it's long, I just love the way that he writes. And I want you to feel what it is that he's describing, because I have a feeling that you'll be able to relate to it very much as I do. The cardboard box is marked The Good Stuff. As I write, I can see the box where it is stored on a high shelf in my studio. I like being able to see it when I look up. The box contains those odds and ends of personal treasures that have survived many bouts of clean it out and throw it away that seize me from time to time. The box has passed through the screening done as I've moved from house to house and hauled stuff from state to state. A thief looking into the box wouldn't take anything. He couldn't get a dime for any of it. But if the house ever catches on fire, the box goes with me when I run. One of the keepsakes in the box is a small paper bag, lunch size. Though the top is sealed with duct tape, staples, and several paper clips, there is a ragged rip in one side through which the contents may be seen. This particular lunch sack has been in my care maybe 14 years, but it really belongs to my daughter, Molly. Soon after she came of school age, she became an enthusiastic participant in packing the morning lunches for herself, her brothers, and me. Each bag got its share of sandwiches, apples, milk money, and sometimes a note or treat. One morning, Molly handed me 2 bags as I was about to leave. One regular lunch sack, and the one with the duct tape, staples, and paper clips. Why 2 bags? I asked. The other one is something else, Daddy. What's in it? I asked. Just some stuff. Take it with you. Not wanting to hold court over the matter, I stuffed both sacks into my briefcase, kissed the child, and rushed off. At midday, while hurriedly scarfing down my real lunch, I tore open Molly's bag and shook out the contents. 2 hair ribbons, 3 small stones, a plastic dinosaur, a pencil stub, a tiny seashell, 2 animal crackers, a marble, a used lipstick, a small doll, 2 chocolate kisses, and 13 pennies. I smiled, how charming, rising to rush off to all the important business of the afternoon. I swept the desk clean into the wastebasket, leftover lunch, Molly's junk and all. There wasn't anything in there I needed. That evening, Molly came to stand beside me while I was reading the paper. Where's my bag, Daddy? What bag? You know, the one I gave you this morning. I left it in the office. Why? I forgot to put this note in it. She stands over me, handing the note. Besides, I want it back. Why? Those things are my things in the sack, Daddy, the ones I really like. I thought you might like to play with them, but now I want them back. You didn't lose the bag, Daddy, did you? Tears welling up in her eyes. Oh, no, I just forgot to bring it home, I lied. Bring it home tomorrow, okay? Sure thing, don't worry. As she hugged my neck with relief, I unfolded the note that had not gotten into the sack that day. I love you, Daddy. Oh. And also, uh-oh. I looked at the face of my child. She was right. What was in that sack was something else. Molly had given me her treasures. All that a 7-year-old held dear. love in a paper sack. And I had missed it. Not only missed it, but had thrown it in the wastebasket because there wasn't anything in there I needed. Dear God. It wasn't the first time or the last time I felt my daddy permit was about to run out. It was a long trip back to the office, but there was nothing else to be done, so I went. The pilgrimage of a penitent. Just ahead of the janitor, I picked up the wastebasket and poured out the contents onto my desk. I was sorting it all out when the janitor came in to do his chores. Lose something? Yeah, my mind. It's probably in there all right. What does it look like? I'll help you find it. I started not to tell him, but I couldn't feel any more a fool than I already was in fact, so I told him. He didn't laugh, he smiled. I got kids too. So the brotherhood of fools searched the trash and found the jewels. And he smiled at me and I smiled at him. You're never alone in these things, never. After washing the mustard off the dinosaurs and spraying the whole thing with breath freshener to kill the smell of onions, I carefully smoothed out the wadded ball of brown paper into a semi-functional bag and put the treasures inside and carried the whole thing home gingerly like an injured kitten. The next evening I returned it to Molly, no questions asked, no explanations offered. The bag didn't look too good, but the stuff was all there and that's what counted. After dinner I asked her to tell me about the stuff in the sack, and so she took it all out, one piece at a time, and placed the objects in a row on the dining room table. It took a long time to tell her story. Everything had a story, a memory, or was attached to dreams or imaginary friends. Fairies had brought some of the things, and I had given her the chocolate kisses, and she had kept them for a day when she might need them. I managed to say I see very wisely several times in the telling, and as a matter of fact, I did see. To my surprise, Molly gave the bag to me once again several days later. Same ratty bag, same stuff inside, and I felt forgiven and trusted and loved, and a little more comfortable wearing the title of father. Over several months, the bag went with me from time to time. It was never clear to me why I did or didn't get it on any given day. I began to think of it as the daddy prize, and I tried to be good the night before so I might be given it the next morning. In time, Molly turned her attention to other things, found other treasures, lost interest in the game, grew up, something. Me, I was left holding the bag. She gave it to me one morning and never asked for its return, and so I have it still. Sometimes I think of all the times in this sweet life when I must have missed the affection I was being given. A friend calls this standing knee-deep in the river and dying of thirst. So the worn paper sack is there in the box, left over from a time when a child said, "Here, this is the best I've got. Take it. It's yours. Such as I have, I give to thee. I missed it the first time, but it's my bag now." Isn't that a beautiful story? It's a favorite story of mine because I see myself in that story. I know that there have been times that I missed the good stuff. And I imagine that as you listen to the story too, you probably could admit that there have been times in your life that maybe you also missed the good stuff. And I rather suspect also that you've learned from those times where you missed the good stuff, and that, like me, you've probably made a commitment to yourself to do better, to remember the good stuff, and maybe even not just to remember the good stuff and cherish the good stuff, but to also give thought to how can you help to create more of the good stuff for the people that you love and hold near and dear in your life. I've really attempted to make it a real practice of mine to do the best job that I possibly can in not missing the good stuff and in helping to create more good stuff around me and for the people that I love and for our community as well. I want to share 5 of the things that I'm committed to doing and that I do my very best to follow through with. And maybe you can relate to some of these things or even expand the list and find your own. But I think that recognizing the good stuff in life, cherishing the good stuff in life, and being willing to help create the good stuff in life is really what gives it meaning and purpose. And to me, it's really what this season is all about. So here's the first one that I attempt to practice. Because I am such a really good planner, and those of you who've worked with me know that this is true. I'm a really good planner. I have to train myself. To remember that sometimes all I really need to do is pay attention and be available. That sometimes all I really need to do is pay attention and be available to the opportunities that are right there before me, the good stuff that's right there before me. I can remember moments of good stuff like that right there before me that was not planned, that was not part of my to-do list. And thank God, through practice, I was willing to pay attention and recognize them. One of the first that comes to my mind when I think of that are the many happy moments of dancing with my daughter Jennifer in the rain in our cul-de-sac, just because it was something she said to me, "Mommy, let's go outside. Mommy, I want to dance and play in the rain." And from that point forward, every time, not that we have that much rain in San Diego, unfortunately, she would say, "Can we go dance in the rain?" Never on my to-do list, always plenty of other things on that to-do list, but so grateful that even though the initial response might have been, "Oh, but I've got so much on that to-do list," was to heck with the to-do list, to recognize and pay attention and be available to those little moments in our lives with our loved ones, a child, a spouse, a friend, to pay attention and to jump into those experiences, to be available. The second, I've worked hard to not be fooled by appearances and to go deeper and look deeper, to look beneath the surface of things in life. I believe Jesus was right on when he said that we were not to judge according to appearances. He didn't say don't judge. Judgment, good judgment, discernment are important mental, emotional, and spiritual faculties and qualities. But he did say don't judge by appearances. Why would he say that? He told us why. He said because appearances can be deceiving. Don't judge by appearances. Looking beneath. And that really takes practice, doesn't it? Because in our culture, we're given certain images of what things are supposed to be like. We're given images of what is beauty. And young women and young men strive so hard to fulfill that image of beauty or to be handsome. I recall a story of a beauty product company that was trying to run a contest to to sell more product. They had an incentive of a contest, and that was that they invited the community to send in pictures of the women that they thought were most beautiful in their particular community, and the winner would get some sort of prize. And so many photographs and stories came in, but one caught the attention of the president of the company because it was so unusual. It was written by a young boy, and when read in context, you could tell that this young boy came from a disadvantaged financial situation, came from a broken family. And this young boy sent a picture to this beauty product company of the most beautiful woman in the world to him. And he included in the picture this letter, an excerpt from this letter. "A beautiful woman lives down the street from me. I visit her every day. She makes me feel like the most important kid in the world. We play checkers, and she listens to my problems and my stories. She understands me, and when I leave, she always yells out the door after me, 'I'm proud of you.'" He ended his letter by saying, "This picture shows you she's the most beautiful woman in the world, and I hope one day to have a wife as pretty as she is." Well, that letter caught the attention because of the picture in it of everyone on the president's staff, and eventually went to the president of the company. It was a picture of a woman well advanced in her 80s, toothless, gray hair pulled back in a bun, wrinkled face, beautiful wrinkled face, eyes that just sparkled. And the president of the company said, "We can never show this picture to anyone because if they see it, they will know our products are not necessary." What is real beauty? Yes, we don't have to discount that there are certain images, whether we're just talking about physical beauty or other beauty, certain things are just aesthetically pleasing to the eye. But if we are so short-sighted to only accept those images as beauty, we miss some of the really good stuff in life. We must look beneath the surface, certainly of one another, and look for and recognize and call out the inherent beauty that really is present in each and every one of us. The third practice for me is that I will follow my crazy impulses sometimes. In fact, most of the time, I will follow my crazy impulses knowing that it's going to require some spontaneity. And if you know me, spontaneity is not something that comes automatically for me. Being a really good planner is. Being spontaneous, not necessarily so, but what I have learned is when I have spontaneously responded to a crazy impulse to do or to create something meaning and memorable, those have been the most precious moments of my life. How many of you have had crazy impulses to do something kind or something special with or for another and followed that impulse spontaneously and found it was magic? Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about. On vacation with friends this past summer in Croatia, staying from place to place in bed and breakfasts, sometimes with little functional, like studio-type kitchens, was one such moment for me that I was so happy that I seized. We happened to be visiting an open-air food market that day, and beautiful, fresh produce, and alongside this gorgeous open-air market was a fish market, fresh fish. And my husband and our friends are very fond of fresh fish and seafood. And I had this crazy idea. Now, mind you, we're on vacation. I'm not in my own kitchen. I don't even know what's in this little kitchen in this place that we are renting. And I have this crazy idea. What if I buy a whole bunch of mussels? Because I know the guys on this trip love mussels. I can't stand them. What if I buy some mussels and I make this fantastic mussel dinner? It would be so much fun. And I blurted this out to them just as I'm blurting it out to you. And they, at first, were a little shocked, I think. Like, how are we going to do this? I said, let's just buy all the stuff. Let's just buy all the stuff. And I'm sitting there in the little fish shop with my iPad trying to get a Wi-Fi connection so I can hook up to my recipe.com app and pull out the recipe that I like when I make mussels and make sure I get all the ingredients because I'm working in a kitchen that is nothing, right? There's no supplies in there. One of the most memorable experiences. Something I will cherish, not just the doing of it, but the experience of it. You have those things too. You have those crazy impulses and ideas that cross your mind that could create a memorable moment for a loved one, for a friend. When I think of the people I love the most, I know that what I really want is to fill their hearts with memories more than their closets with stuff. I want to fill their hearts with memories more than their closets with stuff. So I really practice keeping my mind and my heart open to those crazy kinds of impulses, and then to be willing to act spontaneously upon them. You know, it's been said that we do not remember days, we remember happy moments. Think about that. How many full days do you remember? For all your to-do lists that are so important, how many days can you absolutely describe, days in the past, from start to finish, all the things you said, all the things you did? Do you remember your full days? No. But you do remember certain experiences, certain moments, certain memories. Helping to recognize those is part of the good stuff, and being willing to look at how can you be used to help create some of that is part of the good stuff as well. Fourth, I purposely and frequently replay my happy memories. Do you do that? Do you replay your happy memories? I think that's really important to do. I think that's important to do on a regular basis. Some people are so good at remembering and replaying all the horrors in their lives. Every single one of us have had negative and bad and difficult things happen in our life experience, and we have a choice. We can keep replaying those over and over and over again. Or we can say, you know what, I'll do what I need to do to move through those, to put them in the past, to learn from them. But what I'm going to choose to replay in my mind, because it is my mind and I do have the choice, I'm going to choose to replay those moments that put a smile on my face. I came across this quote that I like. I love those random memories that make me smile no matter what is going on in my life right now. I love those random memories that make me smile no matter what is going on in my life right now. Right now, do this with me. Take just a moment and call, it doesn't have to be a super big thing, but call to mind a memory that puts a smile on your face. You have them. Replay it for a moment. Re-feel it for a moment. I promise you, if you do, you're going to walk out of here, no matter what you think about what I said, you're going to walk out of here in a happier mood. I'll let you in on a little secret. One of the most beautiful things that I think we can do when we are sitting by the bedside of a loved one or a friend who is dying is to sit with that person, even more perhaps than praying with them. And I'm an advocate of prayer. But I think if I had to pick prayer over this, I'd probably pick this. And that this is that I would invite them to think about, and if they could verbalize, if they could still verbalize, those things that put a smile on their face during their life. I do that with people when I sit with them and they are making their transition. And if they can no longer speak themselves, I will often ask for another family member to sit with me and say, let's relive them for your loved one. Let's talk about them in the room while they're here. Because even though their conscious mind might not be hearing what we're saying, their soul is feeling it or hearing it. There's a part of them that is still recognizing what is taking place there. What a beautiful gift we can give to one another to replay these happy moments, but not to feel like we only do it at the end of our life or the end of a loved one's, but to be those that are willing to change our conversations with one another and bring up the more joyful, happy, beautiful memories. Not Pollyanna pie in the sky thing. I'm not talking about that. But to give voice to and energy to and replay those happy moments. And then the last that I would share with you is that I stay open to learning, and lots of good stuff comes when I do. Sometimes it's deep, meaningful stuff. Sometimes it's lighthearted stuff. The good stuff isn't always the same stuff. It's different. And as I close, I want to read some good stuff quotes or ideas and learnings from you that have been shared by people of all different ages. Some of them will make you chuckle, I think. Some of them will make you nod your head. Some of them will make you think. I've learned that our dog doesn't want to eat my broccoli either. Age 7. I've learned that when I wave, I've learned that when I wave to people in the country, they stop what they're doing and they wave back. Age 9. I've learned that just when I get my room the way I like it, my mom makes me clean it up again. Age 12. I think that must be the way my husband feels when I get into his office and try to bring order into his office. Anyway, I've learned that if you want to cheer yourself up, you should try cheering someone else up. Age 14. I've learned that brushing my child's hair is one of life's greatest pleasures. Age 26. I've learned that wherever I go, the world's worst drivers have followed me there. Age 29. I've learned that there are people who love you dearly but just don't know how to show it. Age 42. I've learned that the greater a person's sense of guilt, the greater his or her need to cast blame on others. Age 46. I've learned that no matter what happens or how bad it seems today, life goes on and it will be better tomorrow. age 48. I've learned that you can tell a lot about a man by the way he handles these three things: a rainy day, lost luggage, and tangled Christmas tree lights. Age 51. My husband gets an A+. I've learned that keeping a vegetable garden is worth a medicine cabinet full of pills. Age 52. I've learned that regardless of your relationship with your parents, you do miss them terribly after they die. Age 53. I've learned that making a living is not the same thing as making a life. Age 58. I've learned that you shouldn't go through life with a catcher's mitt on both hands. You need to be able to throw something back. Age 64. I've learned that whenever I decide to do something with kindness, I usually make the right decision. Age 66. I've learned that everyone can use a prayer. Age 72. I've learned that even when I have pains, I do not have to be one. Age 82. I've learned that every day you should reach out and touch someone. People love that human touch, holding hands, a warm hug, or just a friendly pat on the back. Age 90. I've learned that I still have a lot to learn. Age 92. Namaste.